Thank you everybody to be here today, and thank you Huabi to work together with us for this fantastic event. And I will be looking for my slides. Is it up yet? Okay. So this slide will share with you some of the summarize, some of what we have done from last year until this year, and we believe that it will become the trend in the year to come. And that will show also the role of Vietnam and Singapore in the development of the ecosystem, the blockchain ecosystem in Asia and globally. So first of all, let's look at what Singapore see the blockchain ecosystem or the cryptocurrency ecosystem. According to the MAS of Singapore, Monetary Authority of Singapore, they choose not to regulate directly the cryptocurrency, but they would rather look at it, in several areas. First, they want to focus on the activity that is associated with the cryptocurrencies, rather than regulate directly the currencies. Second, they want to regulate the activities, in order to protect the public, rather than just interact directly with the cryptocurrency. So all those things, the Singapore government see the cryptocurrency and the blockchain ecosystem as some area of innovation. So they don't want to stop the innovation. They don't want to kill the innovation, because the economy of Singapore is based basically on innovation. So in 2016, Singapore has created a framework. They call that the FinTech Sandbox. I think there is something that Vietnam also trying to learn now. It is a sandbox, a legal framework, so that all the new company, new startup that is not regulated, in the ecosystem, can work directly with the government, so that can create the new regulation together with the government to oversee this market. So there's a trend shift recently. Last year, you still can see that a lot of ICO raised in Singapore or other part of the world really from the crowd sales. But recently, we start to see the changes. The number of VCs and funds and family office have come into this segment very strongly. Last year, just early this year, Tomochain has raised $8.5 million for ICO, but it's only 12% from the public sales, only 12% from the crowd sales. And recently, Midas Protocol, they put only 2.5% for public sales, meaning 97.5% will be for the VCs and the private sales. So we can see that this is a trend. In 2018, a lot more ICO will raise funds from the private sales, from VC, funds, and family office, and so on. And the public sale will be much less critical compared to the ICO in 2017 or before that. So in Singapore, there's a complete ecosystem, okay, to support ICOs and ICO startups. That's the reason why there's a trend that many ICO in the region from ASEAN countries, okay, like Indonesia, Philippines, even from China and Korea, Japan, come to Singapore to launch the ICO. We can see that even companies from Switzerland, from Silicon Valley, from the US come to Singapore to set up company and to launch ICO from Singapore, because the complete ecosystem to support the ICO startups. So, talking as a chairman of Regulus, recently there's a new organization set up from Taiwan. There's about 30 of us. We come together in Taiwan and Hong Kong to set up what we call a global ICO Transparency Alliance. This organization will unite all the forefront organizations in order to help the ICO ecosystem to be more transparent, to eliminate the negative or scammy ICO from this market. And I hope that here many people or many organizations here will also in the future will join with the global ICO Transparency Alliance. So currently in Vietnam, you can see that there's a lot of talk, a lot of meeting inside all the ministries. Because the Vietnamese government is actively listening and engaging with all the key stakeholders in the ecosystem. And they are preparing. They listen and they prepare. And we believe that this year something will come out. This morning on VTV1, the main channel, there's already some news come out about the 8 regulation that will be submitted to the parliament to pass. So among 8 the regulation submitted to the parliament, one is about cryptocurrency. So we can expect by this summer or by the year end, some draft will come to the parliament and something will be passed by the parliament to become laws. So a trend that you can see that you can hear a lot of different ICO, famous one, like Kyber Network with a huge amount of 200,000 Ethereum in 24 hours and 8 minutes, and Tomo Chain raised 8.5 million in 1 second. So that's those kind of number are stunning. You can see a lot of other ICO like Cambria, Big Bomb, Midas Protocol, and so on. People say that they are Vietnamese ICO, but it's all those companies set up in Singapore. So we can see that the trend is that the majority of Vietnamese ICOs, all the ICO come from the Vietnamese founders, will be launched from Singapore point of view. Because we have to wait until the regulation from Vietnam government to become clear before the ICO can be launched directly from Vietnam. So another thing that we'll talk about trend, I have been talking with so many leaders and founders of many startups in the blockchain ecosystem that they come to me and ask my help to hire for them the IT engineer in Vietnam. So that create a new market for Vietnam that we call that the outsourced blockchain development technology for Vietnam. So we believe that in the years to come, there's a lot of more training and more focus from different faculties, from universities and research centers will be focusing on the blockchain technology, and will help to create a lot of new engineers, new jobs for the people from the tech segment in Vietnam in order to produce a lot of new technology, but for the global market. So we call that the new market is created, we call the outsourced blockchain development for Vietnam. Recently, there's a plan to create a BEST Center. BEST is a Blockchain Excellence Search and Train Center. That center will only hire the students from the 3rd year, 4th year of university from the ICT segment, then train them and bring them to blockchain and create a new career path for the people who come into blockchain ecosystem. So I come to the end of my presentation with some conclusion in 2018 trend. Number one is many ICO will come from Vietnam because the Vietnamese technology ICT is strong enough to create a lot more of high quality tech and high quality projects from Vietnam. So I strongly believe that a lot of new ICOs will come from now to the year end. Number two is until the Vietnamese regulation on crypto and ICO are clearer, ICO from Vietnam will mainly be launched from Singapore because the relationship between Singapore and Vietnam is so strong, and many Vietnamese people are already launching successfully in Singapore. That create the trend, that create the norm, the standard for many people from Vietnam to come to Singapore and launch the ICO. Third one, there will be more outsourced technical blockchain development will be done in Vietnam. For example, people like Kyber Network, they have 99% of their workforce in Vietnam. So that also shows that a lot of new companies in the world can come to Vietnam to outsource the development to the Vietnamese engineer. Number four will be a lot more of education and training center for blockchain will be established. And I believe that more university and more faculty will create their blockchain faculty or blockchain courses for the general public as well as for the high-level studies and research. And number five, I would like to say that a lot of more trust and investment will come into Vietnamese ICO because after a series of high-quality ICO that we have done in last year until now, I think that we have created a high level of trust to the investor globally. So I believe that a lot more investors will invest in the Vietnamese ICO in the year to come. Okay, and thank you very much for your attention.